the next few minutes, we're going to share information with you on how to work safely near power lines. This information could save you and your coworkers from serious injuries or project delays. State law requires that you must maintain a working clearance of 10 feet or more from power lines. So save money, save hassles, and save lives by following these simple guidelines for your safety. Serious burns and even death are possible outcomes from contact with power lines. Contact with power lines to a house can throw your heart into arrhythmia or knock you off a ladder.
Hi, I'm Bo Mackey with Eugene Water Electric Board. I'm a line crew leader for the electric operations. Overhead transmission and distribution lines are not insulated. So if you think that you might come within 10 feet of a power line and you're not sure exactly how close the power line is, call your local utility. Never attempt to measure the distance yourself with a measuring tape. If the distance is close to 10 feet, call the local utility.
By calling your local utility before beginning work that will place you or your crew within 10 foot of a power line, you can develop an agreed upon work plan. And the majority of the time, we can help you out at no charge.
To protect those working near overhead power lines from accidental contact, Oregon has a law called the High Voltage Overhead Line Safety Act. The law provides that no work activities can take place within 10 feet of a high voltage overhead power line until two requirements are met. The first, the responsible party, either a builder or building owner, must notify the utility that owns the power line in that work area. The second, the responsible party and the utility must agree on precautions for that activity. When you contact your local utility about your intended work project, you're taking the right step to protect your safety and the safety of your crews. After you've contacted the utility, a work plan can be put into action that may include the following. Number 1, coordination of everyone's work schedules. Number 2, identification of temporary mechanical barriers to prevent contact with the power lines. Number 3, the temporary raising or moving of the power lines. And number 4, temporary de-energizing and grounding of power lines.
What happens if you fail to comply? Well, how about serious injury or even death from coming into contact with a power line? Work stoppage can happen, and legally, any party working within 10 foot of an overhead power line without notifying the proper utility and establishing a required safety precaution will be held directly responsible for all financial consequences of an electrical accident. Failure to comply with this state law, which is also enforceable by Oregon OSHA, can carry a penalty of up to $70,000 for each offense, in addition to the cost of injuries and repairs. So what should you do? Just contact the utility. If you or your contractor are going to be working near overhead lines, contact the local electric utility for the intended job site. If you don't know who operates the power lines in question, any utility in the area will be able to tell you. By following safety guidelines and regulations, you can reduce accidents, avoid fines or rebuilding charges from code violations, lessen work stoppage time on your project, prevent costly rearrangement of power lines in new construction, and this cost is normally the responsibility of the builder or the building owner. If you don't take the proactive approach and work with us, we'll find out you're in violation, and 3 things will happen. First, we'll stop the job. This will cost you money and lost time. Second, we'll contact Oregon OSHA, and that will cost you money from possible fines. And third, we'll then work with you to figure out how to do your job safely. Either way, we'd like to help you, but it's in your best interest to be proactive and contact us before the work begins. When your work will bring you within 10 feet of power lines in Eugene, call the Eugene Water and Electric Board 72 hours in advance of the start of work. The phone number to call at eWeb for assistance when working around power lines is 541-685-7457.
Oregon OSHA requires at least a 10-foot clearance from all high-voltage power lines for equipment and anyone who is not a qualified high-voltage worker. Although the National Electric Safety Code allows power lines to be placed closer to structures than 10 feet, Oregon OSHA requires that workers and equipment maintain the 10-foot safe approach distance. Contact the local utility if the job may place any workers within 10 feet of an energized line. Electric utilities can offer technical assistance to help ensure your work plan complies with both Oregon OSHA and NESC rules. Violating the OSHA safe working distance could lead to on-the-job injuries, fatalities, expensive fines, and costly downtime. The safety of the general public, as well as members of the workforce, is of the utmost importance to EWEB and other utilities. We all know that high voltage electricity can kill, so please call before you have a problem and stay safe through pre-job planning. For questions, contact your local utility. If you live in Eugene, that's the Eugene Water and Electric Board. And EWEB's phone number for assistance when working around power lines is 541-685-7457.